Al Lefkowitz, and artillery. And introducing your referee, Vic Draculich. Introducing first, he's fighting out of the blue corner. He weighed in at 133 pounds. He wears the red trunks. He comes to us from Durango, Mexico. His professional record, 29 wins, 16 defeats, 1 draw, 12 wins by knockout. Introducing Angel Aldama. And his opponent across the ring, he fights out of the red corner. He weighed in the same as his opponent at 133 pounds. Tonight he wears the red, white, and blue trunks. He comes to us all the way from Bayamon, Puerto Rico. His professional record, an outstanding 32 wins, only 2 defeats, 27 wins by knockout. Introducing Carlos Topo Gerena.
Let's go to the tail of the tape. That obviously favors Carlos Gerena, who comes in with a much better record. He is 4 inches taller, 2-inch reach advantage. They both weighed in at 133, and they are both 28 years of age. So we are all set. Angel Aldama, 5 inches, 5 feet 5 inches tall. And let's
go, guys.
He's got his work cut out for him this evening, facing a Carlos Gerena that has had much better luck and success. He has in his corner Alex Matos Wilfredo Vasquez, who is a world renowned for his incredible boxing career. He's done some announcing as well, and now he's in Gerena's corner, as well as Tuto Zavala Jr. Carlos Gerena from Puerto Rico, that has produced many great boxers. Recently, Hector Macho Camacho, and of course, Felix Tito Trinidad, whom we'll be talking about a lot this evening. The fight has not been signed against Oscar De La Hoya, but the date is May 22nd. It's a Saturday right here in Las Vegas, Nevada. The odds have come out, and it is even money for Felix Trinidad. Oscar is at minus 140. So this is a fight that will certainly create a lot of expectation, and we'll be discussing that as we approach Oscar De La Hoya's main event against Overcar. They call Gerena Topo, which is a groundhog, and perhaps he is just as treacherous and sneaky. This fight, using this first round as a study round more than anything, trying to use that left jab, which has been working, trying to open Aldama's guard a little bit. This is just the first round, settling down a little bit. Carlos Gerena using his ring control, moving quite well, opening up the ring. And Aldama at this point is just counter-attacking. He seems to have no other option. He is shorter, his reach advantage is inferior, and Carlos Gerena is dominating this first bout. He's got a crisp right hand, as well as a very accurate jab. Wearing the Puerto Rico colors on his trunks, blue, the red, and the white, as well as that popular star on that flag from Puerto Rico.
Get out the head, get out the head.
About half a minute left in this opening round, and Carlos Gerena seems to be dominating with no difficulty against this fighter who comes from Durango, Mexico. As we said, he's already suffered 16 defeats, only 1 draw. Doesn't have a lot of power. Only 12 knockouts in his career. And we're talking 46 fights. This is his 47th. 10 seconds left. As Gerena will go into his corner with the first round in his favor. That opening, Carlos Gerena's corner was a little bit more active, encouraging him to use that, to use the hook and continue moving to his right. Throw the jab and move, as as well as a hook and continue moving. Don't become a stationary target. And we'll see in the second round if all that tactical advice has actually had any impact, any effect in Carlos Gerena's performance this evening. He is moving and continuing to employ that jab, trying to open up the road for that right. It's a snappy right, which he hasn't used a lot, but the couple times that he's thrown it has landed. There it is, that overhead right, which the reporter Vasquez was mentioning. Blowing a bit of that speed down. The corner continues to ask for that left jab as a hammer, saying hammer, hammer, throw it in there, and continue working. He's not being that active in this second round, being quite cautious, and now actually stepping back. Although Aldama doesn't throw many punches, does seem to be the aggressor going forward. Although every time he goes in there, his head is snapped back. With that consistent and frequent left jab by Carlos Gerena, el topo from Bayamón, Puerto Rico. Trying to use that uppercut now, and there's that left jab. The uppercut didn't work at all. There's that jab, straight jab. That's obviously been the best weapon this evening. Throughout the first round and a half. Not much body punching either. One of the few left hooks he's thrown to the body. Basically, he's been going for the head, perhaps in search of that quick knockout. But so far, he hasn't really put in any sort of danger. His rival from Aldama. A little counter-attack with obviously no effect, no power by Aldama. A little right going in there. As we come to the end of the second round, Carlos Gerena, and using the combination with that overhead right. Wilfredo Vasquez was asking for exactly the same observation that we were making here ringside. You gotta go low. You gotta go to the body. And the experience has been obvious. It's been in his favor. He's been too slow. His opponent Aldama has been pretty much anticipating the punches that Gerena is trying to connect in there. That's a little push. This is once again referee Vic Drakulich. He was in charge of the second bout of this evening between Lamont Brewster and Mario Paolo. Lamont Brewster improving his record in that bout to 21-0 with 19 knockouts. That was another sort of quick fight for Lamont Brewster, who's undefeated from Los Angeles, and perhaps one of the up-and-coming attractions in the heavyweight division. Gerena obviously has to mix it up a little bit better. He's been quite slow, cautious, not very active. And well, Aldama is going to settle in there. He's going to sooner or later realize that if the opponent doesn't throw many punches or take advantage of it, he's throwing more punches at Gerena, so he might get tired through the later rounds of this fight, and maybe that's when Aldama is going to begin his attack. He's been so far simply receiving and trying to counterattack as in this exchange right now.
Well, Mario, you can see that Gerena has the better physique coming into this bout. As you can tell, he looks more cut and more physically prepared than that of Aldama this evening.
Looks much more like a boxer. Better technique, much better style, and a better corner as well.
And of course, you can just look at the records. You can tell the wear and tear that Aldama has seen throughout the years at 29-16-1 with 12 KOs. That's a record that's not too impressive. in the sport of boxing.
Stepping stone for a lot of boxers. Although he's been standing right in there, counter-attacking and in some instances pushing forward.
We'll watch Gerena inside the ring. He's got a nice working of the jab. Likes to throw that right out there, and he's really looking for that opportunity to do some damage there with that left. And of course, Aldama here must be a little bit thrown off by the southpaw style. Nice combination there, scores for Gerena.
Finally showing some power. He'd been reluctant to throw those power punches, but I think he's been listening to his corner, and here he is again, throwing that heavier material. Feel the power punches that his corner obviously mentioned, bringing up the heavy punches that he's receiving, and he simply said, you know what, I can't feel it, giving him obviously some confidence to go in there and try to establish himself in that fight.
And go toe-to-toe against his opponent here this evening now. Gerena has been in against some stiff competition. He does have the one loss to Gennaro Hernandez. But since then, he really hasn't fought anybody of recognition. However, he is trying to get himself back up into the elite in the lightweight division. And a victory here tonight, of course, only helps him continue in his quest. Now it's interesting enough, it's Aldama who's forcing Gerena back a bit. But as you can see, any true boxer who really has been inside the ring and is very confident in his skills will tend to do a big circle. I was talking to George Foreman here earlier. He was saying what you want to do when you're inside that ring is do a very slow circle, but do a wide circle. And that's exactly what Gerena is doing here against Aldama. Less than 2 minutes to go here in round number 4. The Mandalay Bay Event Center. Going to show you a lot of shots here tonight. Brand new facility. And of course, folks here want to show it off, Mario.
And they got the best in the business. There may be boxers that are heavier, but no one bigger than Oscar De La Hoya at this point. Generating some of the top pay-per-view cards in the non-heavyweight division, and now one of the top attractions as well.
In boxing and in the rest of the sports world, he is a name that is, or that has, I should say, become a household name. Nice combination there by Gerena, but you question when a guy is so quick, how much power goes into his punches. He's just punching really quickly, scoring points, impressing the judges, but he's not really doing much damage because you can see that Aldama is right back in his face. And
it's a little surprising, excuse me, it's a little surprising considering he's got 27 knockouts out of his 32 victories. He hasn't really shown much power.
Well, if you look at the 46 fights that Aldama's had, he's only been knocked out, he's only been knocked down a couple times, so 16 defeats, of course, but not all of those have been knockouts.
So this guy, he's got a chin. He can go in there and take a bit of punishment, as he's been doing for the first 3.5 rounds of this bout. He didn't deny the fact that he's being dominated completely. He just says he doesn't feel the punching power. That's what Julio Cesar Chavez said once about Oscar De La Hoya. And, well, we saw the results of that.
Twice. Less than 10 seconds to go here in round number 4. In a bout being dominated by one Carlos Gerena of Bayamon, Puerto Rico. Got the mute button on with them, though, right now. They're just knowing that their fighters dominating the fight really does not need to do much, but just follow the game plan that they've established here early on. As we start round number 5. Coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada, Mandalay Bay Event Center here in Las Vegas. Carlos Gerena in the red and blue trunks against Angel Aldama in the pure red trunks. Now, electrical night expected here, Mario. I was just walking around here earlier this evening. Bumped into Wesley Snipes as well as James Woods walking around here. We're expecting Al Pacino, Kevin Costner,
Not here in Vegas.
Antonio Banderas.
He's shooting a movie here, by the way, at the Mandalay Bay with Woody Harrelson. It's called Bad to the Bone. It's a boxing movie, and they have actually used this ring to shoot some of the action. It's not quite that realistic, but a little bit of editing, a little bit of sound effects.
And you have Wag the dog.
2 champions. There you go.
You could have yourself 2 champions, and 2 marquee champions at that. As we pick up the action with Gerena, and we haven't really missed much here with this fight. Basically, it's Gerena putting most of the pressure, and Aldama just covering himself up and not throwing much back. It's a different type of defensive style from Gerena, of course, but when you're just standing there and you're not throwing anything back and absorbing the punches, you're not going to impress the most important people in this fight, and that, of course, is the judges.
I mean, on the receiving end of this fight, Aldama, well, at least he hasn't gotten on his pony. But he's standing right in there, perhaps waiting for the right moment to counterattack, perhaps just waiting for Gerena to get a little bit tired. He hasn't done absolutely anything, just counterpunching every once in a while. And he's obviously lost the first 4 rounds of this fight.
Well, Carlos Gerena is cruising here in the 5th round of this bout, scheduled for 8 in the junior lightweight division.
And blood now appears in Gerena's, Aldama's nose. So the first real signs of punishment he's receiving. Gerena getting much more accurate now.
Fight goes into the trenches. Both guys in the center of the ring just trading back and forth. And as you look at Gerena, just tag and move. His punches are beginning to have the effect on Aldama's face. They're leaving their marks.
They're asking him to go right through the middle, right through that opening. He's given him a chance to connect so many times. Much better boxer. The opposition is much higher. What can you say in the corner? Just simply
go out there and give it your best shot.
And hope the guy in the back and say, "Don't fall."
Yeah, or hope you clip the guy. You know, as we've watched these 2 fighters, they're here in Las Vegas, Nevada. For Gerena, it's his first fight ever here in Las Vegas. But these 2 gentlemen doing battle are world travelers. In fact, they have fought in France, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Germany, Italy, and Denmark. What that equates to, Mario, is a very decorative passport for each fighter. I don't know if I'm trading in my dollars for pesetas or for rubles or for pounds.
Oh, now you got tokens in some of the machines.
Exactly. They come to Vegas, they trade them for tokens. And of course, Gerena trying to hit the jackpot here this evening. But Aldama just does not want to go. Staying in front of him. Tough fighter. Ángel Aldama from Durango, Mexico.
Well, so far, Gerena's been the dealer, and Aldama's been getting some pretty lousy cards so far in this battle.
Well, if you're coming into this fight hoping that, if you're just joining us, hoping that Aldama can somehow pull off the upset, good luck. Because luck's not on your side. In fact, Aldama is 1-6 in his last 7 fights. And Gerena is looking to drop that mark to 1-7 here this evening if he continues with the pace that he has displayed here throughout the first 5 rounds and well into round number 6. Mario.
We were talking about some odds. Obviously, the odds are in Gerena's favor, especially at this point in the fight. And we got some more numbers on the Oscar De La Hoya Obakar fight. Oscar a 10-1 favorite. The current line is minus 1,000 for Oscar, plus 700 for Obakar. He's been overshadowed this entire week by the talk of a fight between Oscar De La Hoya and Felix Trinidad. It hasn't been signed, but it's already being promoted.
It's already being promoted basically amongst the promoters, and that being Bob Arum and Don King. But it's been very interesting this week, and it's the first time in my memory where the fight on the horizon has actually overshadowed the fight that is on the docket. So,
and it's not unusual for Oscar to start planning his next fight before he even gets into the ring for the present for his present fight. But in this instance, very little has been said about Obakar, and everything has basically focused on Felix Trinidad, on the $10 million that Don King finally accepted, plus another $500,000 that Time Warner's throwing in there. So $10.5 million plus a percentage of the pay-per-view once it exceeds a certain amount of subscribers.
And as we come to the end of the round, that will be one fight that everyone
Who at this point is just going to get desperate and try to accomplish something that he hasn't been able to do during the first 6 rounds, and there's 2 more left in this fight.
In case you're just joining us, you're watching an 8-round junior lightweight battle between Carlos Gerena and Angel Aldama. Gerena from Puerto Rico, making his first fight ever here in Las Vegas. He's doing a pretty good job against Angel Aldama, cruising to a victory here this evening, unless, of course, some act of God prevents that from happening.
Well, God seems to be present in the ring tonight, according to Obakar. He calls himself the chosen one. He says he had some sort of vision or a prophecy indicating that God wanted him to win tonight. So we'll see.
I'm not talking about it like that. I'm talking about perhaps the roof caving in here at the Mandalay Bay Event Center. But
And the way they built this place, that's doubtful.
it is very doubtful. As we look at the round here, less than 2 minutes to go here between Carlos Gerena and Angel Aldama. And this is a fight that could be tough to watch. It can also be tough to call. I have to be honest here at ringside because of the fact that you have it just so one-sided. And unfortunately, Aldama here is not the guy who's fighting back. He's just putting up his arms. In fact, if you're at home, score the amount of times that he'll punch back here for the amount of punches that he's taking. You can see that he's worn down, he's exhausted.
And that's why Gerena has to mix up his punches. You know, bring him down to the side as the corner's indicating. Go to the side, go to the body, bring down his guard so that he can start punching.
Well, it's very obvious that Gerena here does not rely on his power. He just relies on his speed, and he's just looking to score his points.
And you brought up that statistic indicating that most of the knockouts for Gerena have been in the latter rounds of his previous fights. 34 previous fights. This is his 35th. He's already accumulated 27 knockouts.
Gerena putting together some nice combinations, but backing off when he seems that he could throw another punch that could perhaps rock Aldama. I'm not saying knock him down, but rock him. He just tends to back off. He could easily be inside this ring tonight looking to gain some rounds for his career, get some practice underneath his under his belt at the expense of Aldama. And it's obvious that Aldama here is not going to be, as we mentioned earlier, much of a threat going into the final round. Less than 10 seconds to go here in round number 7 from Las Vegas, Nevada.
There seems to be a trend here tonight where the opposition has not been as good as expected.
As fire away with that left upperhook when he has the opportunity to follow through with the right. As we start in the 8th and final round.
Not the most exciting fight. Most of the audience here is a little antsy. They're expecting a lot better action. And of course, they're here to see Oscar De La Hoya. Perhaps Floyd Mayweather has some fans as well in the house.
You look carefully, you can see Bob Arum between both fighters at the moment, sitting down there at ringside. And the gentleman on the cell phone behind Gerena, former governor of Nevada, Governor Bob Miller. You know a fight's lacking some interest when you're starting to look into the crowd to see who's in the background.
Who is it?
Well, we're just looking to find some people in the crowd.
You spotted someone already.
As Carlos Gerena is just rolling along here.
You know what I saw? I saw Floyd Mayweather Jr. or Senior, and Jeff Mayweather too.
Hanging out here.
They're here.
They're all here. I think I saw Oscar De La Hoya. He'll be here later on tonight as well. Less than 2 minutes to go in this bout in the junior lightweight division. Carlos Gerena, Angel Aldama. And Aldama trying to throw everything he can right now, including the kitchen sink, but it's just not going to hit, and there's just not enough power behind it to do any damage this late in the bout. And Gerena still very active, staying right in front, throwing his best blows at Aldama.
But Aldama has been able to absorb the punishment. He hasn't gone down yet, and it seems unlikely that he will. 1 minute left in this fight, and Aldama is not going to give up. He wants to finish this fight on his 2 feet, and that seems very likely.
Corner of Gerena telling him, give it to him from the side. So Ramazan is here at ringside. And Gerena, who knows, he might be able to develop into something after this. He will improve to 33-2 at this pace. A very impressive mark in the sport of boxing. But of course, he does have those defeats in the past that do haunt him, especially that one to Genaro Hernandez.
And of course, you also have to look at the opposition to really make a valid judgment as to the quality, the capacity, and the potential for this boxer, who will obviously improve his record tonight.
All we're waiting now is the official decision from this bout as the judges here at ringside turn in their scorecards to the referee, Vic Draculich. As we look back at some of the highlights from final round, Mario.
Basically the same story. That jab that was able to get through on many occasions. He didn't really follow up too much with the combinations. He didn't really listen to his corner, but he did what he had to do and took control of the fight from beginning to end, and at the same time receiving very little punishment. We see there very clean face, as opposed to Aldama, who took the worst.
Jake Gutierrez is about to inform us of the official decision. Let's throw it back up to Jake in the center of the ring. They have the mute button on Jake at the moment. We're going to check in with him in a second. Trust me, though, he has a nice voice. Here it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 8 rounds of boxing here at the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino, we go to the scorecard. Judges Dick Al Lefkowitz and Art Luries all scored this bout the same, 80-72. For the winner by unanimous decision, Carlos Topo Gerena.
So Carlos Topo Gerena improves to 33-2, which is no big surprise, Mario. That was